Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, will be the latest, probably nervous entrant, or should that be contestant, into Donald Trump's Oval Office today. She has the difficult task of trying to promote the EU's interests without antagonising the president. It'll be interesting to see how Mr. Trump presents their encounter to the media. So far, he's tended to shy away from traditional press conferences in favour of creating, well, you could almost say, TV events. Think of Zelensky and Vance's spat in the Oval Office, or and how it went nuclear with the president joining in, or even the flattering mission which Sir Keir Starmer went on. The president is, after all, a reality TV star by background. So is he really deliberately trying to manipulate press opportunities to create drama? Well, joining me now is Jon-Christopher Bua, who is a White House correspondent. Hello to you, Jon-Christopher.
Lovely to see you again, Adam. Thank you.
Got to ask you, what's the atmosphere like for correspondents who are not, fully signed up to MAGA in the White House at the moment? How does it compare with previous presidents?
Well, I mean, I only go back to Bill Clinton, and then we were involved with Obama. And it's very different. It's different than Trump won, where there was more access, there was more questions asked. I had 3 questions, could ask them, and was answered properly. But now when you go into that briefing room, you don't recognize anyone. There are a lot of supporters. They're very right-wing media outlets that aren't really full-blown media or operations. There's the front few rows with sort of
influencers and MAGA supporters, podcasters.
Influencers, MAGA supporters, youngsters, special new media, they call it, and they are there to support Donald Trump, along with his cabinet and his disciples, as I call them, who are there to be supplicants. And if you're not a supplicant, you're persona non grata. So I go when I can, and I've been to the Starmer press conference and the Macron press conference. I went to go to see Zelensky, but we all know what happened to that. He was booted out. There was a menu prepared for his lunch, and they canceled it. And the White House press staff, not the Corps, but the press staff, ate it instead, and he took the high road. Meloni's going today, but you mentioned her. But there's only a closed press lunch and an open press sort of, in and out, get the press in and get them out kind of thing. No questions really of any import asked. And you think he would be more open to her, since she is sort of basically a Trump of Europe.
But, I mean, the interesting thing is, what they call those Oval Office pool sprays, which, used to be basically to just get a picture. He's now turning those into, I think it went on for 50 minutes with Zelensky, half an hour with Benjamin Netanyahu, about the same with the British Prime Minister. So, this seems to be what he's interested in, not so much private negotiations or indeed formal news conferences where questions are focused. It's just, it's the Donald Trump show plus special guest, isn't it?
It is, and their guests are not so special. I mean, you saw Benjamin Netanyahu sitting there basically and behaving, and he was, went along with him. Everybody goes along with Trump. Somehow they're fearful of him. But I'll tell you who's not fearful of him, and that's Mr. Powell, who's the Fed chair, and he's come out and really given it to Trump, and now Trump wants him fired, which is unbelievable. And if you think the market is doing poorly now, just wait till the press and the American people get a real feel of what that means.
But I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, for world leaders, that unless you suck up, frankly, you're going to get slapped down.
Oh yeah, he'll come out and ridicule you. He'll use the most vulgar terminology, which is unbefitting to any chief executive, any president, any prime minister. I mean, it's suitable maybe for dictators, but we won't get into that in this show. That's a whole other show. But he is really showing his true force. And I've known this guy for almost 60 years, and he hasn't changed. And he's really quite insulting. And he's trying to neuter and eliminate all opposition. And with the press, he's trying to muzzle the press. He's trying to cut them off, and he doesn't want any free flow of ideas. And Trump, he wants everyone to pay homage to him. And that's what, if they don't do it, it's the highway.
But perhaps he's got it right in the sense that he is now, not just president of the United States, he's sort of the world's biggest celebrity. And his popularity seems to be holding up okay as far as the American electorate's concerned. So, he has managed to turn politics into entertainment, hasn't he?
Well, if you look at what's going on in the marketplace, and you look what the catastrophe he's done with these tariffs, which he calls them taxes on those people who've been ripping us off. They are not. He's getting killed on this. The market is not. And here's what's happening: the conservative Republicans, who are really the bankers and the money people, can see right through him. They know what he's doing. They know he's trying to aggrandize and take control, but he's destroying our economy. I mean, single-handedly, in about less than 100 days, he's ruined our status in the world. He's ruined our status with our allies, with the EU, with NATO, and as you said earlier, he hates Europe, and he thinks he's going to be a dictator on his own and rule the world.
You're a White House correspondent. We know that some news organizations, the Associated Press being most notable, have actually been downgraded. I mean, do you worry about, being cancelled if you don't say the right thing?
Well, I'm more worried about our freedom being canceled instead of just me. We have a White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I know you know about, which is on the 26th. And we had a lovely young woman, a comedian, and they pulled her because she was not appealing to Trump. So we have, and the White House Correspondents Association was always the ones who put in the reporters to cover the president at these briefings, and that's been taken away from us. And the seating chart has been taken away from us. And the Associated Press was scorned and was penalized for not calling the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America that Trump wanted to call it. So they kicked them out of the briefing room, and they kicked them off Air Force One, and there was a lawsuit involved. I still don't know how that's going, but it's a disgrace. It's an embarrassment, as Trump likes to say, but he is the number one problem we have in this country right now. And let's hope we don't have a constitutional crisis, because if he refuses to obey the judiciary in these many court trials, actually, and court issues that are coming up, it's inevitable that we could have a constitutional crisis if we're not in one already.
White House correspondent Jon-Christopher Bua, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Washington, D.C.